It's alive! It's alive!
OtherworldlyCulture.com presents Dead On Movie Reviews.
Salutations and mutilations, you're listening to Otherworldly Culture presents Dead On Movie Reviews. Tonight we will present horror movie reviews and lively debate here on OtherworldlyCulture.com and on future select Thursdays at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 Central. You can join our live chat at that time by clicking on the live shows link on the OtherworldlyCulture.com website. I'm your host, Tim Kretschmann, coming to you from the land of lakes and landfills, beautiful Muskego, Wisconsin. Dead On Movie Reviews is now one of 3 rotating shows on Dead On Thursdays. Alternating weeks, you will see this program, or Dead On the Bases, our horror sports mashup, and our newest offering, Now Streaming, which is a panel discussion on a film on a free and supported streaming service. Generally, if Suzy does not pick the movie that week, it's usually of higher quality. It's my honor now to introduce the Faculty of Fear panel presenting tonight's lectures. Hailing from the Motor City, Detroit, Michael Cieslak is a lifetime reader and writer of horror, mystery, and speculative fiction. He has served as an officer in the Great Lakes Association of Horror Writers, and if you go to a local horror convention, you'll see him. He's always there. He's selling books. Just face it, he's going to be there. He'll be the one in the kilt, and he's killing it over at thedragonsroost.biz. Good evening, Mike.
Hello, and I feel really bad because I have not worn any kilts in any of the shows I've done so far in 26 because it has been 4 degrees outside without the windshield. So,
freeze your balls off on it. Well, I'm glad to see you're keeping safe in any event. I should mention we did have another panelist scheduled that had to cancel at the moment, so we'll go to our next panelist, Suzy MacIntyre, who is also known as Suzy Snowflake or the Ice Princess. Suze loves Poltergeist and Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, and she loves to wear tiaras, though the way things are on the screen right now, it looks like a giant spider is sitting on her head, which is awesome. And I think that's your next tiara. Suzy is our host for Now Streaming program, which is one of our rotating programs on Dead on Thursdays. Now Streaming was recently named the 46th most popular podcast and film reviews in Spain.
Yay!
they're all watching at the Olympics.
Now, the only one caveat, that's only when Suzy is not picking the movies. Then there's good movies. And
you know what? Hush.
And
that's
now
BS because I pick the movies every time we've had a show up until the one that we haven't recorded, and we are still 47. So you are full of shit and just want to give me a hard time. So
do you defend torturing Mike Cieslak when he comes onto the program with such horrible tripe?
I do declare that I take great pride in making all of you miserable with my movies that are great movies. You're just stupid.
I'm actually waiting to see what the how that spike in Spain goes on the next.
The spike in Spain.
The spike in Spain that falls mainly on the plane.
That might be an Olympic event. The spike in Spain. Anyway. Actually, I think Spain is going to do fantastic in the best sport in the Olympics. And of course, I'm talking about luge. I think they're going to do well this year. I have no idea. I have no idea. I'm kidding. I'm
And getting
The
back to
best
me,
sport-
if you guys have any luck, I might just be asleep by the time this show ends tonight. So there you go.
If you wake up about midway through the evening, you'll be able to watch curling, which is the only one that I watch.
Which
It's like
is
at 3
the actual
a.m.
best sport of the Winter Olympics. Thank you very much.
That is my favorite. I love watching it because they have Bob and Doug McKenzie are the ones doing the commentating there. I think it's hilarious.
I enjoy watching the opening ceremonies, but I missed them this time.
I
So
missed it.
sad.
I think they're on Peacock. I'm almost positive I saw them laying out there, so you might want to check that out. Okay, well we're done talking about that. Oh wait, I didn't do this. Let me say it one more time. Michael Cieslak. It sounds better when I do it. You know what that is. Right?
Yes, I do.
Okay, you can hear it and everything. Okay. Things are working this week.
Why don't I get a little fun song like that?
I think I do have one. Where is it? This one. Yeah, that's your sound.
You're dorky.
It could be worse.
Here, I have a sound for you, jerk.
That's what I was expecting. Yeah, last week someone managed to get Call Me Maybe stuck in my head. After
That
it
was
had
not
been
me.
in my head all day and I'd finally gotten it out.
That is my texting sound effect.
At least we can
I
say it
could
wasn't
have
me.
killed you.
Yeah. All right, let's get things going. We're already falling behind. We are going to be starting with you, Mike. What have you been watching?
Well, in honor of Valentine's Day, I tuned into Hulu and watched the movie Together.
I'm sorry.
I don't be sorry. This film asks the question, what would it be like if David Cronenberg made a movie that was examining emotional inequality in a relationship? And you would get together with someone that I understand Tim is very, very
Smitten.
pleased with.
Yes.
Big fan of Dave Franco.
Right. Right.
And Allison Brie.
I absolutely loved his work on Community. Yeah.
I was gonna say, now is he being serious or is it the opposite of he's a fan?
No, he was
saying.
saying
I
pre-show
love-
that he really likes Allison Brie. So
I love
thought
Allison
I'd,
Brie, and
Yeah.
is to the extent that I actually have a number of bond holdings in Allison Brie on HSX.com, which is the Hollywood Stock Exchange. And I'm like, one of these days she's going to have a major hit, and I'm going to get big cash on there. Actually, you don't make money on it. It's just fake, but I love playing that game.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
The last couple of
After the
words.
show, I'll show you HSX.com. It's cool. Go ahead.
Okay. Can't
So
wait.
the film starts out with some dogs, and if you want to, you can fast forward through that part. That's okay. You won't miss anything. And I thought it was an interesting way of setting up the people going into the country.
Hold on. Did you say dogs?
There is a brief scene where
Oh,
some
yeah, I forgot
not
about that.
happy things happen to some very cute puppers.
Okay.
And it's the setup so you know what's going to happen later on.
Okay.
I actually have the words dog trauma boo written in my note. We then cut to the main characters who are throwing a going away party because they're leaving the city and they are moving out to the country. And Allison Brie's character, whose name I just forgot, which is why I take notes.
It would be
Millie.
Allison.
Millie has a new teaching job, and you kind of get the idea that her boyfriend Tim is not as happy about the idea of moving. He's this guy that's been in a bunch of bands, and he's got a new album that's coming out, but he's self-producing. And some of the friends that are there are telling him that, hey, if you can come back in, we can use you as a guitarist. So he's making plans to come back to the city, even though they haven't even left yet. There's a hysterical scene, which I will not give away for anyone that watches it. It's so off-putting. It's the kind of thing that makes you feel secondhand. Oh, I can't believe that just happened. I'm so embarrassed for them. But to get an idea of how this couple may be drifting, you have Millie says to Tim, and everyone thinks it's so funny that we dressed alike at this point. We didn't even try to, because she's got on like a denim skirt and a denim shirt over like a white t-shirt, and he's got on blue jeans, a white t-shirt, and denim jacket. And in the next scene, he's gotten rid of the denim jacket and put on like a brown suede jacket. So you're like, oh, okay, Tim may have some issues with this whole thing.
Oh, that's foreshadowing.
Yeah, they move out to the country. He really doesn't have a whole much of anything to do, so he's working on his tapes and things. She has a day off, so they go on a walk in the woods together. And as someone who's gone on numerous walks in the woods, I can just tell you that most of what happens in this movie could have been avoided if they had a map and knew how to use it.
I believe that's true of Blair Witch Project as well, but they
had a map.
They threw it away.
Someone kicked it into the river, so that's not their fault. They just didn't think to get a map, and it's just like not far from the village. So they kind of had that. It probably had that idea, like, oh, we won't get lost. That's when you get lost, or that's when you need a map, man. But they end up in a storm, because that's what happens when you go hiking in the woods. I can definitely attend to that. And they end up falling into this cave that's got like all this weird stuff. There's like church pews that are coming out of the wall, and there's this big pond of water. And Tim does the other stupid thing that you don't do, which is you don't just drink the water that's collecting on the ground without filtering it. Best case scenario, a deer has peed upstream, and you're going to end up with Jarda, an intestinal parasite. You're going to be pooping your pants for a couple of weeks. But unfortunately, what actually happens is much worse. They sleep in this cave until the sun comes up, and then when they get up in the morning, their leg is kind of stuck together, and they're like, it's like
it was so cringy.
It was some kind of weird fungus or something that's sticking us together. And as you can see from some of the things that are going by, this is something that begins. They start like sticking to each other.
It's like tar babies.
When they touch, when they kiss. Another part that I won't go into. Tim kind of thinks that there's something that has to do with this church that was down that way. And this is where I'm going to stop my summation, because I don't want to give up anything. There is a bit of a twist with... No, that even saying what I was going to say would be too much, would give it away. There was a twist that I did not see coming. I kind of had part of it figured out, but there's a twist, and I'm like, oh, okay. That's not what I expected. And some of these scenes are just gruesome, with things sticking together and the way that they are drawn together. And it really plays on this idea of codependency and not want to be like subsumed inside of a relationship, and the idea of losing your own personality. And I'm ready to go for a grade.
I have a question before we go.
I have an answer. 42.
Okay. Is this a horror movie that knows it's a horror movie, or is it trying to be elevated horror?
It's trying to be elevated.
I don't think it's trying to be that elevated. It's a little elevated. It's just like another floor up. It's not trying to be a slasher movie by any stretch of the word, and there's plenty of goopy stuff that happens.
This is body horror from what I can see.
Yes, most definitely.
You said David Cronenberg, so
yeah.
But
the granddaddy of body horror.
But it wasn't made by A24, at least?
It was not.
Okay. Well, that's the minimum.
Man, he just loves to hate on A24.
He really does.
Let me tell you, I can go for hours on that. That's something where I actually have stamina. Okay, give me the grade for Together with Alison Brie having a boyfriend named Tim. That's about all I pulled out of that entire film.
I'm going to give this one an A-. I really enjoyed it. The creepy parts of it creeped me out enough.
Suzy obviously has seen this as well.
Is the
and I'll just fill in her grade while we're at it. There we go.
No. This was
I can read the room.
Most people, I will say, enjoy this movie. I did not. It was not my kind of thing.
Okay. I honestly, the one thing that really off-puts me is body horror, because I gave recently Society to Jeff Miller and Dead on the Bases, and I forgot how off-putting that movie actually was.
I wanted this movie to be over. Like, I would not be able to sit there and watch that movie together again. Okay. I would not be able to. But to each their own.
Yeah, exactly. That's why we do the show. Okay. So it's time now to run over to Suzy. Suzy, what have you been watching?
I don't know. It's been so long. Primate. That's what it was called.
That's why she's got the monkey ears on.
That's why I have the monkey ears.
What is coming out of your
I thought they were
Cinnabons.
Cinnabons.
Sausage? Or is that a sex device?
It's a monkey tail.
Okay, we'll call it a tail.
Well, if I put it on my ass, you wouldn't have been able to see it. So I have to, hold it. Anyway. What was I going to say? Okay.
We're going to let that just ride. Right. Yep. Just let that ride.
Listen, shut up. This is going to be my shortest review ever.
Wow.
So, hush. You're welcome. Don't get used to it. It's also going to be my hardest review because I'm very conflicted about this movie. It's not even really a review, more of a rant. I don't know. I don't know. But let me start by saying IMDb explains this as a teen horror movie where a group of friends, their tropical vacation turns into a terrifying primal tale of horror and survival. I have to say that is the worst synopsis for a movie I've ever seen and had to explain. Because first of all, they're not teenagers, they are college kids, and I do not consider college kids who are old enough to drink teenagers. They be at least.
What about teenagers who are in high school but who are drinking anyway?
But those are teenagers. But these were college kids that were old enough to get their own alcohol, so they're not teenagers. They're also not on a tropical vacation. They live in Hawaii, so it's not a vacation. They're on spring break or summer break or something. But they're not on vacation. They're going home.
It's vacation
time.
When you're not in school, it's vacation.
But they're not actually going on vacation. They're going home.
I think you're being difficult on purpose.
Well, probably, but that's not the point. I'm too tired for this.
You stayed up to put up with this abuse. I'm so sad.
Now my monkey ears,
sleeping right now.
My monkey ears are crooked and not even staying on straight.
Well, that's because the giant spider moved it off to the side.
I just want to go to bed. Anyway, My rants, I don't even know where I left off, but they're not teenagers. They are college kids and they are obnoxious in every possible way. Like so over the top obnoxious that I'm guessing they're probably pretty good actors because they can't possibly be this annoying in real life. They just did a really good job of making you hate them. So kudos to the cast.
The actors acting it. I think
I will say this. You know how, that little saying, you learn something new every day?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think that the director and the writer there was the one director and Johan, or however you say it, he directed and then he co-wrote it with the other guy. I think the two of them, where was I going with this? Oh, I think they learned a new fact and then completely revolved this entire movie around the new fact that they learned. But apparently, in Hawaii, there's never been a known case of rabies. And it's a true fact. Like, I was like, oh, that's bullshit when I was watching the movie. But no, it's legit. Hawaii has never, ever, 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 ever had a case of rabies. And
Are you talking the island or the entire state?
I don't know. I think the whole state.
The whole state.
Yeah, no. Hawaii is the only. Yeah, Hawaii is the only state that has never had a case of rabies. Okay. Like never ever. Completely rabies.
Have a really strict policy where if you move there with your dogs, they have to stay in like
quarantine for like so long.
Months. Yeah.
Right.
Well, they have a problem on Kauai where somebody brought a rooster, and now chickens have taken over the island of Kauai.
But they may have taken over, but they don't have rabies.
Right. Well, chickens generally don't have rabies.
But can they get it?
What they have is very annoying morning habits that wake up tourists. I'm just saying.
You know what? If you get to go be a tourist in Hawaii, then too effing bad about the chickens. You're in Hawaii.
I was waiting for the anger. Okay, I feel better.
But because of this, because there's never been a case, and because, like he said, they have all these laws about how you have to quarantine your dogs and your cats for so long, they also don't require that your animals get the rabies vaccine. Because why would you have to have it? Well, I'm going on a tangent here, if you can believe it. I have to go on my little tirade and not talk about the movie for a minute, because I just have to say, as a fur mama to 7 adorable little furry creatures that run around my home, whether there's rabies or not, I'm still going to do my due diligence and get them their rabies vaccine, even if it's not needed, because, as we all know, the world can go to complete shit at any minute. And maybe there is rabies. Maybe the zombie apocalypse comes, but it's not the zombie apocalypse. It's the rabies apocalypse. And then, boom, they're not protected. So I still think you should get the rabies vaccine for your animals. But that's besides the point. It has nothing to do with the movie. Moving on. I digressed, and I have no idea where I was now.
Rabies.
The annoying non-teenagers. Okay. So y'all stay with me, and then I'll be done, because, like I said, this is going to be short, but I don't think this is short now, but that's besides the point. Anyway. So, they are horrible in every way possible, and they are not on vacation. They're coming home, and they come home to the one chick's house, who is like this insane mansion, like the biggest, baddest, greatest mansion Hawaii's ever seen. But apparently, she hasn't been home for a while because her mother died, so she has this dead mother, and it's so too sad to come home. So I'm never going to visit again. But the funny thing is that her dead mom, like, they make this big deal about her mom being dead and dying of cancer and blah, blah, blah. But it was pointless. It had nothing to do with the movie. Like, it was not part of the plot. It was not part of anything. Like, it was completely irrelevant. They could have just not talked about the mom at all. The only thing that made it important about her mom was before she was dead, she was like this big, bad, groundbreaking linguist type person. So because she did all this stuff with languages and everything, she was able to create some kind of way for this cute little adorable chimp named Ben. Yeah, I guess he's a chimpanzee, not a monkey. But he has this little iPad, and so he can talk to you just like basically the equivalent of like a little kindergarten kid that has autism.
So this is the ape from the movie Congo.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, so he communicates like he's a toddler with just a little touch. And so he has an iPad, and so he talks to you through it. So anyway, his name's Ben. He lives with this chick who obviously just came home, and then her dad, the widowed dad, who, by the way, is completely deaf, and apparently he's completely deaf in real life too. So it wasn't just part of the movie. And then where the teenager fact comes in, so she does have a sister who's a teenager, and she's a angsty teenager, but she wasn't annoying like the college kids were. So anyway, where was I? Because I have no idea. Okay, so here's where my rant and shortest review comes in. So in typical horror fashion, the annoying kids, the parental unit goes away for the weekend, leading to the social norm of let's get high, drunk, and invite strange boys over to fuck. And yes, Tim, shut up before you yell at me for saying the fuck word. I just have to say, there's literally a whole scene in this movie where the girls are just sitting there and think that it's totally okay and nothing bad can happen, that they're going to pick up the phone and call these strange dudes that they don't even know that they met for 30 seconds on the airplane and leave them a voicemail that says, oh, hi, here's our address. Come over and fuck us. Because that sounds like a great fucking idea. Who does that?
Apparently these girls.
Well, this is why they deserve to get rabies and die.
They would
okay?
actually be defined as skanks.
Yes. And so, so they do that, and then, oh, I think they did that even before the dad left, which was stupid. But anyway, so that's besides the point. So anyway, so then right before the dad goes to leave, he finds the chimp, like, he's acting weird. And so the chimp lives in the house, but I guess he also has this outdoor enclosure too, which I don't know why he has both, but whatever. I guess for, like, whenever he is being bad, he has a timeout and a whole other outdoor enclosure or whatever. So anyway, so the dad is like, oh, he's acting off. I'm going to go lock him up in his little cage. And then, which his cage is probably bigger than my house, but that's besides the point. So anyway, so when he does that, he finds this dead mongoose in there. And then he realizes that the chimp, Ben, is acting weird because he has a bite on his arm from the mongoose. But again, rabies doesn't exist, so we're not worried. We're just going to lock the chimp up, take the mongoose to a vet, and go away for the weekend. So anyway, so then all that happens, they start partying, and then the vet calls the deaf dad and is like, is this a joke? This mongoose has rabies. And he's like, that can't be possible. Rabies doesn't exist in Hawaii. So rather than like calling the police or calling someone to hurry up and run over and check on these kids and find out what's going on, he just keeps calling them and calling them and calling them. He called like 27 times and they're not answering. At what point would he just have called the authorities so they could barge into the house? So while he's calling and doing all this, suspense, terror, a few good jump scares, really awesome fun kills ensue. And the little Ben Chimp, Mr. Monkey guy, he just goes on a total binge range. I don't know, whatever. And for the next, thank you, Ranger. That's what I think I was trying to say. For the next 60 minutes, he just literally kills, like, rips these kids in pieces. And, like, he, like, yanks the jaw off the one kid and throws it over the balcony. And, the girls are all huddled in the pool because I guess chimps don't like swimming pools. I don't know if that's a true fact or not. I didn't look that one up. But, like, he literally yanks the hair out of the one girl so you can see her scalp. Like, it's really awesome, brutal kills, and those are fun. And then that's it.
That sounds so good coming out of somebody with monkey ears on her head right now.
Okay, so I have to say this. The cast, it doesn't really matter who any of them were because I didn't recognize them from anything.
Right.
And like I said, they must be good at their jobs because I hated them, and I don't think that it was them or their bad acting. They were just that horrible people that I wanted them all to die.
Monkey fodder.
The redeeming parts of the movie, I do have to say this though. This is why I am conflicted because there was no CGI in this. And thankfully, no real animals were in this, so that was nice. But it relied on good old-fashioned, like, practical movements by an actor who did it, and he got all the movements down and all that. And they used, like, prosthetics and puppetry and everything, and that was done perfectly. Like, everything about the monkey, the way he looked, the way he acted, the way he killed. Like I said, all of that was absolutely great. The kills were completely over the top, like in ways that like you jump to them, you're like, oh my gosh, that's insane, and that's over the top, and that's disgusting, and oh, I gotta cover my eyes. So that was fun. But the problem was that the characters were so bad, I just wanted them to die, so much so, and not in a way like, you know, when you're watching Friday the 13th or something, and finally the bimbo who was bullying people or that over the top jock, you're like, yay, they finally died, and it was a great death, and yay.
Yeah.
You didn't cheer when they died because you didn't care that they died, if that makes any sense. And because
so
you were
connect with anybody, right?
Yes. And so you were so over it by then that you kind of, the kills were a letdown because you didn't care that the kills were so awesome because you just didn't care at that point. I don't know if that makes sense or not.
Well, they didn't connect as characters. I remember the movie Leviathan. They set up Daniel Stern to be the designated asshole in that movie. And he was so successful because he's got kind of a innate charm to him. Even when he's being a jerk, you kind of like him.
Yeah.
When you have characters that you just absolutely, you know, the whole love to hate. This is what made the TV show Dallas is so big, was we all hated JR, but we loved hating JR.
Who shot JR?
Yeah, you can name pretty well any of the nighttime soaps, and they had a character that you just loved to hate.
Yeah.
So.
And them you just didn't care. So then you really missed out on how good the kills were because you just didn't care. You were just tuned out.
What I'm impressed with is that you said that it's all practical, because honestly, when I was going through the pictures, I thought it was CG.
Right.
Very realistically rendered. But I guess things do look real when they're real.
And that is why I am very conflicted about the movie, because there were parts of it that were really, really well done. Mm-hmm. And I just wish that I wouldn't have hated the people so bad, because I loved everything else about the movie. But I just couldn't get invested in it. And I wanted to be invested in it because it was well done.
Okay.
So,
well,
I don't know. I'm kind of all over the place with it. I did want to say one thing though that annoyed me, and this is a spoiler. I won't. There are some people. I won't spoil it. I'll change how I have it. But the people who the survivors. I won't say who or how many survived. But, what was stupid is, well, first of all, they won't even have to deal with lawsuits because there's no way that they don't die from being infected. Because what I don't understand is at the end of it, the people that did survive didn't go off in an ambulance. They got to walk off. And I'm sorry, but if you are in a state and you were just infected with rabies, you are definitely going to go into an ambulance. You're not just going to hobble away and you're going to end up dying because if they don't have rabies and they don't have the rabies vaccine, so why are you not in that ambulance getting medical care?
And they may not have the vaccine on the island.
Right.
You know, and if you're on an island with rabies, do you know what one of the number one symptoms of rabies is?
Not
hydrophobia.
Hydrophobia. Yep. You're afraid of the water.
Exactly.
That is
No.
a
You don't want to be on an
island. But it's only an island if you look at it from the water.
So yeah, they should have had them in a helicopter flying off to get.
Well, to me, it sounds like the real problem here is whoever named the chimp Ben.
Ben.
Because Ben is not a good name if you're in a horror movie.
Right.
Why? Who else was named Ben?
The mouse and
the rat
and Willard. And
was he? I love that movie.
And then the sequel.
I love that
Ben.
Willard movie.
Which
one?
Both.
Okay. Yeah.
I like the original, but I did like the remake because I love Crispin Glover.
I have to admit, I think I might prefer the remake.
Really?
As scary as that is. But I think Davison's portrayal is very good, and I think the villains in that movie that, is his mom and the boss, I think are better overall. But I think Crispin Glover, you just believe that Crispin Glover would do this.
He just looks like someone
that would. You just believe it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I agree. But so that's my rant. I can't call it a review because it's a rant because that's what I did. I
what
ranted.
What is your grade?
A minus.
I don't know.
I put it up there for you.
Well, no. I want to say because I'm very conflicted. I will. So since I am conflicted, I will go middle of the road and I will give it a C because I want to get a part of me hated it and part of me loved it. So let's just say.
So a C for chimpanzee.
Oh, I love that. Yay.
There you go. All right.
Yes, sorry, that was more extra and rambling than normal, but it's because I'm tired and whiny. So there you go.
Oh, look, it's your tiara. All right. Well, I'm going to do my review. It's on a movie from all the way in 1981, a magical time here on the face of the planet. The name of the movie is The Pit.
The 80s were the best time for movies and music.
It absolutely was. So, it's something I didn't know when I started watching the movie. This was shot in Beaver Dam, Wisconsin.
How did you not know that?
I had no idea when I started watching it. I just picked it. It was one that has been in my queue forever. I'm guessing when I first put it in my queue, I knew that. But when I started watching it, I didn't. From what I hear, this is the best movie ever shot in Beaver Dam, Wisconsin. It might be the only one as well. Take a look at the movie poster. If you're watching this on the video instead of the audio, you have to look at this picture. I look at that poster and I get vibes of those late 70s, early 80s horror novels that you would find at the grocery store. And a lot of times, like, a portion of a face would be cut out and you'd open it up and it was like in a skull or something like that.
Raised lettering.
Yeah, it has that kind of...
The shiny, classic 80s paperback.
Yeah, and there's an excellent book, by the way, called Paperbacks from Hell.
I was just going to grab my copy.
I cannot recommend that enough. It's so great. But it does remind me of that type of storytelling and that type of vibe. Also, I'm watching the movie. I did not look when the movie was made while I was watching it. And I thought it was late 70s. And then it came out in 81. I nodded my head like, yeah, absolutely. Yep. It sounds about right. And I found out that the kid that played the lead, actually, this is shocking in so many different ways. In his time off, he would hang out at the local discotheque. And I'm like, what is a 14-year-old doing in a discotheque in Beaver Dam? And then I thought, what is a discotheque doing in Beaver Dam? It's just crazy. So, what is this movie about? This is about as weird of a movie as it. Have either of you seen this?
I don't think I have. Okay. I don't recall this at all.
Okay. This movie is about as weird as they come. It's a young sociopath. They call him 12. He looks about 14, but I mean, close enough. It's much better than a lot of these movies where they're 28 years old. Pixels. And they're making a high school student. This kid looks age appropriate for the character. This little sociopath gets a new babysitter that slowly learns the kid has some real problems beyond his strange behavior. Like, at first you kind of see the kid and he goes, well, he's a little bit off. And then everybody starts talking about these weird things that this kid is doing. He has a teddy bear that he talks to. He's a little bit beyond that age. And the parents are leaving town. and they hire a babysitter for him because he is a little off. And they basically get a psychology student because they're like, well, maybe you can do something with him as well. So this little bowl haircut psycho, he gets the hots for his babysitter. He's definitely in pervert land. At one point, they mention that his mother is still bathing him every night. And he does sneak in on the babysitter while she's showering and writes a message that he loves her on the mirror while she's showering. So he's a little bit not nice there. He also watches his babysitter sleep, and at one point she's sleeping in a position where her PJ is open and exposing her breast, and he's enjoying the show. So there's a lot of that sort of stuff. He's cutting out people's faces out of photos and putting them on nude pictures. He raises snakes in terrariums in his basement. There's just a lot of weird stuff. But he takes a liking to this babysitter, and he decides to reveal his biggest secret to the babysitter, which she's like, okay, what is this? Maybe this is the key to his oddness. And he says, I know where there's a really big hole in the forest. I think this is almost verbatim. There's a really big hole in the forest. And she's like, yeah, big whoop, right? At the bottom of the hole, there's some creatures and they have yellow eyes. What? And they're called nilbogs. Nilbogs, ladies and gentlemen. So, goblin backwards. As we all know from, what was it? Troll 2 had
Troll
nilbogs.
2.
So, of course, you know the nilbogs are... And up until that point in the movie, you're kind of thinking, well, this kid's mental. He's, it's not real. But then things are happening, and I don't want to spoil everything about it, but I feel like this, you kind of need the info. These creatures are real. And he decides there are some people in town that need to meet these creatures in horrible ways. And it comes off as a horror comedy, but pretty dark horror comedy. The weird things this kid does, they're not only weird, they're kind of horrifying, but not over the top scary. So it's kind of this strange movie. If there wasn't the nudity in it, I'm not sure it would be R-rated. But there is some pretty significant nudity in the film. In fact, the woman that gets totally naked in the movie was the daughter of the director, which really, really makes that sequence. Once you learn that, it makes that sequence so very, very bad. Because, she's naked, not topless, naked.
Like full frontal?
Yeah. Yeah, they went for it. They went for it out there in the farmlands of Beaver Dam, Wisconsin. So they showed a little more beaver than we thought.
Damn.
Thank you. It's not a very polished production, but it isn't that ultra cheap business that you see today where somebody grabbed a camcorder. This was made with professional crews. The actors, at first I thought some of the main lead kid, that his acting was bad. And then I realized, no, he's acting like a goof. He's acting like a weird person. So it kind of fits. What I love about this period of time is when independent films were made back then, they weren't being made by huge studios as a little spin-off company, and they were just being made to be for award consideration. They're like, okay, we're going to put our tax money over in this indie. We know it's not going to make any money, but it'll get us awards, which will bring us prestige. No, this was back when if you made an indie, you were hoping to make money with it. And this movie was made very, very cheaply and has a concept this big with a budget that big. You know, and they were thinking, we're going to make our cash on this thing and go. And honestly, this is a, 45-year-old movie, and I'm talking about it today. So it's stuck around because it is weird. It's not what you expect. There's a lot of odd choices. The music in this movie is utterly bizarre. Like, the music doesn't seem to be synced with the action. Like, it'll be a suspenseful sequence on screen, and they'll play, like, action music. And it's just really weird stuff. And there are some fairly grisly scenes in here that they play totally for laughs. Just for grins. And I will say, this is one of those movies that has a little cute ending to it. You'll see the cute ending coming a mile away. And there is an entire period in the film where our main character, and Michael appreciates this movie is made in limited third person, where every scene has this kid in it. We're seeing it all from the kid's point of view. There's a period about 15 minutes where the kid is nowhere to be seen. You don't see the kid at all. It goes to omniscient, and I think that's primarily so they could get this nude scene of the director's daughter. Which I sit there and I go, why would you do this now? This doesn't make any sense, but they just do it. And then they go right back to the kid, and then the rest of the movie's with the kid again. So it's got some very, very strange setups to the movie. But here's the thing. It's not a good movie. You can't say, oh, this is a great movie. It's not a great movie. But boy, was it entertaining. I was laughing out loud. I laughed more at this than I have at Saturday Night Live for the last 3 years. There were laugh out loud moments with this movie. There was never a moment where I'm like, oh, this is kind of a boring sequence. I'm going to pull out check my phone for text or Facebook or something like that. And, I'll look up again in 10 minutes. No, this movie, it just keeps going along. And you don't want to look down because you're like, something utterly bizarre is about to happen. And usually that is exactly what happens. Something utterly bizarre. It makes no freaking sense a lot of times what is happening on the screen. And I love it for that. So I'm going to go ahead and grade it. I'm actually giving this thing a B+.
Wow.
There is no reason it should get a score that high. There is no reason except for after I was watching it, I was like, you know what? I actually enjoyed this movie quite a bit. I kind of have to give it the score of how I felt with the movie. So I'm giving it a B+. I was actually toying with an A-. I actually was, because I was entertained enough. I mean, it shouldn't even be in that conversation. It shouldn't be in that conversation, but it was good. I actually enjoyed it quite a bit. So I believe it's free on Tubi right now. I think I marked it down. Yes, it's on Tubi and on Roku right now. I'm guessing even if they lose the licensing, it'll just keep flopping between all the freebies for just back and forth, because I think they made their money out of this thing already and they don't really care too much anymore. But it's a fun movie. I will say I watched it alone. I think I would have had a lot more fun with a couple buddies over, because it's one of those movies where you go, what did I just see? I kept looking around like, did everybody else see what I just saw? That doesn't make any sense. It's a good time, and I think everybody should check it out.
The interesting things about that, it's a Canadian production company that decided to shoot in Wisconsin, which is just weird, because that's exactly the opposite of how everything goes, where, Vancouver stands in for every city in the United States.
The strange thing is, too, they shot this thing in Beaver Dam, but then the pit itself, the titular item, is in Waupun, which isn't particularly close to Beaver Dam. And I'm like, this is just... They dug a hole.
It's a hole in the ground.
It's a hole. I'm like, what was so spectacular about it? I don't know. But it's worth checking out. And it's at the right price. So try it out.
The screenwriter was fairly displeased with the way it came out, because in the original... the trolologs are never seen. So it's really more of a psychological thing. And the kid's like 8 or 9. So the director aged him up, said, no, we're gonna show the monsters, and we're gonna add some humor.
Well, you could tell at the beginning of the script, you could tell they were going to play off of, are these things real or not? I also feel like the teddy bear aspect of this thing was going to be played up a lot more, and it just wasn't. So, I don't know. You know what, though? I loved the stupid thing. I shouldn't say I loved it.
Oh, so you're allowed to love stupid movies, but I'm not. I see how it is.
Well, yours suck.
And he admits they're stupid movies.
Yeah, he
doesn't say that the movie is completely worth watching because it had one of
your high school crushes in it.
Yeah, I was trying to think of something that wasn't the band that he was actually in, to try to piss her off, but I couldn't remember what band he was actually in, and I don't remember those tiny bastards.
Hey, everybody!
I remember Menudo. I know he wasn't in Menudo.
I think it was Menudo, or it was the Swanky Modes. Does anybody know that reference? The Swanky Modes from the greatest movie. That's another movie you should put on now streaming. But you, of course, will forget this, Suzy. All these great suggestions that we give you.
Before you hate on my movie selection, I just have to say that the last one that I picked for my show was one of your all-time favorites.
That one was good but we know you did that just to piss off Cieslak. We all
because I wasn't on it.
Yep.
No, because I also know that's his fault for not picking that episode. And then I have another one coming up that you also admitted was a great flick as well. So
and that'll be coming next week, Thursday.
No, one that I have coming up in like 3 weeks.
Okay.
But I don't want to say it. I have to build suspense for our viewers.
Yeah, well, there's a pretty good one coming next week that everybody should tune in to now streaming, and it's going to be Rock and Roll High School, starring the Ramones, and of course our good friend PJ Souls. I want to remind everybody as well, please subscribe to our show. Basically, if you're listening to this as a podcast, it'll be at that podcast selection. And of course, it's on YouTube as well. But more importantly, the next time you're at a convention, find the Dragon's Roost at that convention and purchase, a dozen or so books.
Thank you.
They're great to give out throughout the year. Have you bought your Valentine's book to give to your girlfriend yet? Have you bought your special St. Patty's Day book? Or did you miss President's Day this year? It's time to buy a book from dragonsroost.com. Biz. How was that, Mike?
That was awesome. That was awesome. I was actually at the last show I was at. I had a little sign made up for the paranormal romance books that said "Perfect for Valentine's Day," and then I had a big heart on my Eldritch Embraces, which is the putting the love back in Lovecraft books. Speaking of books and speaking of recommendations, let's see if we can get this in.
There it is.
That is the book that we're talking about.
Yep.
Grady Hendrix, absolutely amazing, great guy.
And there's
Made
great
a little
pictures.
drawing. He autographed it for me.
Oh, wow.
If you get a chance, I don't know if he's still doing it, but he used to do a 1 hour show about this book where he has slides and it's a whole presentation with song and dance. It's absolutely amazing.
And you have the physical copy, which of course has the illustrations.
Yes.
I am going to tell you, I'm somebody that bought the ebook, and it has the illustrations.
It has to.
Which is key to that, to enjoying that book, in my opinion, because the covers of those books during that period were unbelievable. They were just fantastic. Suzy, are we keeping you up? Are we
Yeah, it's
barely?
okay though.
It's
I
worth
just,
it.
you know
how
your voices are just so soothing
I
that
know. Mike, do you know how people say Happy Easter? By giving their loved one a copy of It's Dark in Here.
Okay, there we go.
Because it's got a squirrel story. All right. You'd have to be nuts not to like it. All right. Well, that's what we have. Is Suzy, I'm going to give you a chance to talk about the event that you and Tim Godak had this very recently here with Sean Weiss. Was it well received? I hear you had a lot of people.
It was pretty awesome. Like I said, we started out the night where we had like a little VIP dinners, which was just very small, very intimate. And what says intimate like having pizza? So,
Right.
but that's what he wanted. So we had a local pizza place, Le Lulo's, I think it was called. They catered the event. And then we had Christie Park Cones. They sponsored us with desserts. And we just chilled with pizza and wings and ice cream and listened to him talk all about everything from how he started as a child actor all the way up to what he's doing now. And then after some photo ops and auto signings with general admission, then we popped some popcorn and we all sat around and watched his breakout. I say breakout. I mean, obviously he's been in the industry, but his breakout horror, which was D for Melody. It's an independent movie that hasn't even hit theaters yet. And when I tell you it is a fucked up movie, like it is a fucked up movie. Not bad. It was, I mean, everybody should check it out when you get the opportunity. But like, it is one of those what the F moments over and over. It was very well done. I hadn't seen it until this night when we're watching it with him. And it was not like anything that I've seen before. So you guys would probably absolutely love it because it's not my norm. And no, it was very interesting. It was very cool to see. It was very awesome to watch with him and then have the Q&A with. He's very proud of this movie. It was a very awesome event, very long weekend, which is why I'm tired. But yeah, but it was great. It really was great. Like anyone that battled the weather and got there to spend the night and hang out, like it was awesome. It was really, I'm very honored to have been a part of it and put it together. Like it was very cool.
Mike, are we agreed that in the future we should always make sure Suzy is in that particular square? Can you move your head just a little bit over? The other way. There, right there. Perfect.
Oh, what was funny was there was one, and I forgot to mention it to you, but your mic was not the mic, but the pop screen was just a little bit in focus, and it had one of the spiders look like it was coming down to rest on it. But that was weeks ago, and I didn't think about it until just now.
Fantastic.
See?
Hey, I want to thank everybody that tuned in tonight and listening to this later on one of the 500 services we're hooked up to. Remember to rate us, like us, and follow us. That's how more people find out about our podcast, particularly on YouTube. There's a million things out there. So tell a friend, tell them about this great stuff that you're finding over at Otherworldly Culture. Now, if you hate it, my name is Jeff Miller. And you feel free to send emails to Jeff at otherworldlyculture.com.
Poor Jeffy Jeff.
All right.
You're so mean to him.
I am. But I think we all love that. So thank you all for tuning in, and want to remind you to stay safe out there. Stay away from pits, rabid chimpanzees.
That was what I was going to mention.
And drinking water out of the bottom of pits.
I can't believe that they made that movie into a series on HBO Max with Noah Wiley.
All right. Good night.
And on that note, it's time to go.
It's actually topping the streaming charts. It's crazy. All right. Well, thanks, everybody. And remember, when you aim at horror, make sure you are dead on. See you next time. Otherworldlyculture.com.
Ooh, I'm tired.
That sounded great. John Allison, call me.